Alright, Alico 3. Today's video is going to be kind of a return to the types of videos I've done for years and years, which are the Mailbins. Seem to be popular with many viewers. Basically just sift through mail that came in, talk about sets, players, cards. Um, so, yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a ton of high-end stuff in here. This is more stuff I like to sift for diamonds in the rough. Kind of tough at times, but they are out there. So we'll start off with a card that I've been high on for quite some time. This is a card I was hyping, I think back when it was 50 or 60 bucks. I think raw now they're close to 300, but that's the way the hobby goes sometimes. This card was always underrated, the star rookie LeBron, and now it's finally getting some respect in the hobby, but I think it has a lot more room. So star rookie LeBron, as I've said many times, but it is much tougher than the flagship tops to come across. And I think it's got a better photo too. Plus it's classic. The star rookie from Upper Deck. Okay, so there's two different versions of this. And on the left here, I believe we have the one that's the H2. So there's a little almost like a Hummer car that you buy, and there's this card sticking inside the package, kind of like a starting lineup. So see how the background's just a little darker on the left one? I think that's the one that's in the package, and this is the one that's in packs. This is the Fleer Ultra Base. So I always like to try to get the one that's issued in packs as opposed to the Hummer one. But there are two different versions, and you'll see them floating around on eBay. Most people don't note the H2 on the darker background, but even PSA and Beckett don't get it right either. So that's something to note. Of course, we got to have a Bowman Moss in one of these. And these are just cheap, $3 to $5 shipped. Okay, so here's the tops. We can put them side by side and compare them. And you guys tell me which one you like better. So I mean, I think the Upper Deck photo is way better. There's the fronts, the backs. Just kind of an up close photo with some stats, but I mean they're both classic cards. Iconic and still affordable to many collectors. To some, they've been priced out. But for a long time, this card was about 70 bucks the top, so it was affordable for a very long time. That's why you gotta act on some cards. Here's another flagship. So these are very tough to find in perfect condition, especially when you're buying raw. This one I bought in one of those. I think it was in a mint grading case, and it said 10 gem mint, which take that with a definite grain of salt. But the centering's amazing on it. When I did take it out, I snapped it out yesterday. It's got like a scratch down the surface like this, so I'm gonna guess it's like an 8, just because the scratch is so significant. So if you're looking at this card, it looks fantastic. You're probably thinking it looks like a 9 or 10, but I think the technical grade will be closer to 8 to 8.5 if I was grading it at least, because that just seems like a major flaw. Here's the cards I like to buy, trying to find some 9s and 10s. Barry Sanders Score. Love this one. So there's 3 of them here. And they all look to be decent. I've got to put on the gloves and grab my tools, my lamp, my light to examine these properly, but they look decent. And then this is another card I've been trying to buy up when I see them raw. This is the Baseball's Best Griffey. Raw, these are about 15 to 20 raw, and that's with shipping priced in. Any price I give you when I'm doing these bins is with shipping priced in. So I've got 5 of these to sift through. So hopefully a couple of those go off. This is a neat one. This is a Supernova's Randy Moss. This is the 1 to 50. It's got that superimposed image, kind of similar to Topps Finest. But this is see how the surface is kind of dirty? I'll take my microfiber cloth and some Windex and clean the whole front surface before I send it. But it looks clean. Other than that, I think it'll probably get a 9 or something. It looks really good. So Supernova's Moss, and I don't know, I think that's the gold. See how the background's gold, but I could be wrong on that. Here's your mandatory score. This is the rookie preview. Fantastic looking card right here. That one's not numbered. Here's a Brees card that I like. This is the Avant card from 2001 Showcase. There's also a Legacy collection, and that one's out of 50. And this is the base Avant card Showcase. There's a couple more. This is Upper Deck Top Tier. That's out of 1500. And Upper Deck Victory. So Victory is about as low end of base rookie Brees as you'll find. I would say Victory, maybe Upper Deck MVP, kind of like the lowest end. This was a Calvin Johnson lot. I'll just show them all together. There is some score. I think his Upper Deck's back there, and then a couple Bowmans, but it was like $1 a card or something when I factored in shipping and stuff, so I thought it was a good deal. This is one that I definitely want to try to get graded. It was only like $3 shipped, but it's the 96 Bowman's Best Refractor. That seemed cheap, even though Manny doesn't have the best hobby, but I'm a big Manny collector and fan, so this is very cool. This is 96 Bowman's Best. Okay, a couple of these. This is the Row 1 from 98 Showcase. So it's got that badass looking, it's not quite cracked icy, but it just looks cool. So a couple of these I picked up. These are both around $5. Oh, this one's really neat, because you don't see these pop up too much. So this is from 1998 Skybox Premium. This is the Intimidation Nation insert. I'll have to check the pack odds, but I think these are tough, pretty tough. I know I've got a Peyton and a PSA 9 at home that I love. And this berry looks pretty good, and I know this can be somewhat condition sensitive, so definitely get this in a tux. Okay, these were all from the same seller. Lots of 10. I think I took out 5 of the Clemenses, yeah, because I was already processing them and getting some ready to grade. They're stuffed into this card saver, but I don't think it's hurting the cards really. There's no soft sleeves, so here's 10 of these score traded Griffies. Not the toughest set from 89. Yeah, those corners look soft, so I'll have to list these as near mint plus to maybe near mint, just depends, but there's Puckett. 10 Pucketts. And then Wade Boggs. I think these are all going to be all centered, so maybe I'll just put these back into a lot. So yeah, I mean, I don't ever buy these cards graded and I don't expect gem mint. I don't really expect mint unless they list it as mint. I think the standard norm when you're buying cards on eBay raw is kind of near mint. And, you know, if you get a card with a crease or some crazy ding, then, yeah, I file returns. But for the most part, I keep stuff, you know, even when it's not in great condition. Because cards I sell aren't all perfect either. Here's an Upper Deck MVP, LeBron. Okay, so I was buying the Griffies. And I was like, why not buy Sosa? He was a good player. I know he's wrapped up in the steroid thing, but Sosa was a freaking beast. So I bought some Sosas. I think there's another one in here, but Baseball's Best, 1989. Cool set. It's a box set too. So you'll notice the corners are kind of weird on them. They're almost pushed in, but I think that's how they all are, because I've seen PSA 10s with that too. Okay, this is probably the most expensive card in this whole bin, but this is the Bat Down. And this one was purchased from DC Sports, who has a pretty big store, and honestly it looks great. It's just got a little scratch by his head, so it's probably like an 8.85, but that's right in the near mint range. Here's a Dominator Bonds. This is cool, out of 5,000. This is from 93. It might be 94 Donruss. somebody correct me on that, but always looking to buy some Bonds cards. This was like $10. Vic with the basketball. That's Rookies and Stars 2001. Here is Donruss number 33 from 89. Griffey and a 9. Okay, these are all from 4 Sharp Corners. A lot of Rickey Henderson and McGuire in here. So here's the 81 Fleer. That one's 9. Here's 84 Fleer and a 10. '82. Some of these older wax boxes, I do break a box of them every now and then. And when you actually break a box of it, you can further respect cards that are in this type of condition because they're just all miscut and dinged. So, and this one's, this might be a population control card, but I'm fairly certain it's very expensive in a 10. This would look a lot better in the SGC with the black, in my opinion, but that's a second-year Henderson Topps. Kind of a weird picture. I think somebody said he looks like a convict or something. I can't remember who it was, but somebody on YouTube. And then here's 83 Fleer. That one's a 10, and 83 Topps. That's a cool one. So, I don't know. I've been on a Rickey Henderson bench. He's one of the athletes that I've actually met. Here's a McGuire, USA in a 10 or in a 9. Yeah, I mean, you won't see 10s of this, and a lot of the PSA 10s that people have come across don't look like 10s either. So this is a set that's kind of iffy. If you're buying a 10, I would stick with the 9s. You can get a 9 for like 50 to 60. So I would just look for a center 9 and call it a day, or try to find an SGC one. Here is the Upper Deck MVP LeBron. This is the silver. You can tell it's the silver obviously from by the right and left edges, but they are slightly tougher to pull than the base, and they sell for a premium. So okay, so this is a card that used to be worth close to $2,000, but more have come into circulation. There's been more 10s that have been graded, so of course prices came down. It was around $625. I thought it was fair. The card has ranged anywhere from $600 to $2,000 in the last 2 to 3 years, so I figured buy one of these, check the condition, try to make sure it's got the 10 condition. I checked it out. It looks like a 10 too, so the card matches the grade, so I'll almost like to keep this one. And that's actually very rare for me to actually buy a PSA 10 card. Most times I won't pay up for the label. Whoops. Here's Sosa. Here's another baseball's best Sosa. So there's 2 of those in this. This is Premium Manning. That's somewhat of a tough pull. I think they are 1 in 4, so 6 per hobby box with 30 or 40 rookies. So 1 in 4 or 5 boxes to actually get just a base Premium Manning, and then private signings. That one's not numbered, but it is an on-card Rickey. He's a 10K back, a rare dying breed. Here's an SGC. I'm not a huge fan of this old flip, or this, yeah. Then this might be before they had like the 96.9. They just had the 96. It's got that old hologram thing on there. So I'll probably snap this one out. I like the new flip and holder. This is sweet. This is a Legacy Collection Manny to 100. This would be row 1. So it's got like that row 1 grace look. Plus it's got the Legacy Collection, so just filth. I think we already saw one of these, but here's a pro debut. This is just such a sweet card. 1, because he's in the Vatek uniform. 2, it's got this white spaced out. Half the card's white, so the on card just looks sensational. And it's numbered. I don't know. I like everything about this card. I've always been a huge fan of Topps debut. That's a set that only ran for 2 years, though. Bowman's Best. Nice refractor shine. $14.99 on this 8. So, some cards I think look better in the Lighthouse, and some cards I think look better in the SGC. I don't think it's one size fits all. I think it depends on the card. Older vintage baseball looks way better in the SGC. That's just my opinion, but newer stuff like this, maybe PSA, I don't know. But pros and prospects, this was like $6 shipped. That's ridiculously cheap. Out of 1,000, I think there's a couple Lamars in this one. Thought there was another one. It's in here. Here's the optic. Love the rated rookie. Just classic. Let's go through these 3. So we've got the winning materials to 750. That's got a dual jersey there. I'm not a fan of jersey cards, but it is a cool Brees card. We've got Upper Deck Legends with the photo. That's out of 750. And then MVP. Here's another optic. And then score. And this card was interesting to me because it's just absolutely centered. Corners, edges, it looks on perfect. But I think this is graded accurately because there's scratches. You guys might not be able to see them the way I can, but there's some scratches. There's one by his hat right there. There's one underneath his eye. I think there's one going across there. So there's scratches on the card, on the surface. So I think it is accurately graded. And then this is a card I'll snap. Is it off-centered? Yeah, I mean, trust me, I wouldn't trust GMA. I don't think they're credible. I know a lot of people won't like hearing that, but... And it's not just because the guy grades out of his basement. It's because I bought a lot of, Gem Mint 10 GMA cards and snapped them out, and they're like 8.5, 9. So I think I just don't think they're accurate graders, and I don't think they're trying to do it on purpose. I wouldn't trust them. I also wouldn't recommend spending your money having them slab your stuff. Unless you just like this holder and you want your cards protected, then maybe. But I don't think there's going to be a long-term market for this company. This is a company that I would see going out of business, in 2 or 3 years, and kind of joining the rest of the group. But that's just my opinion on GMA. Moving on. This is the Jackson I was talking about. Yeah, if I was going to pick a company to grade with, right now I'd say SGC and also PSA. I would still think about PSA. They're just so backed up and they're not open. I guess they're like slowly going to open up, but here's the Jackson Prism. And then Beckett, I don't consider Beckett a viable option. Who else is out there? That's about it, right? Gem grading, I think went out of business too. Here's some berries. This one's got the yellow case. So Topps traded berries, great slab cans. Pretty easy to tell if they're centered or not. This one's off-centered, the first one. So that's it, guys. I mean, nothing crazy high-end. There was that Griffey PSA 10 and the bat down, but just a lot of stuff. I'm looking to try to find stuff to get slabbed for future videos. So later.